In the quiet village of Mkondo, nestled in the rolling hills of Mpumalanga, South Africa, Pastor Samuel led the thriving Light of Grace Church. His sermons drew crowds from neighboring villages, filling the modest church hall with fervent worshippers every Sunday. His voice, rich and commanding, seemed to carry divine weight, and his prayers were said to heal ailments and mend broken spirits. To the community, Pastor Samuel was a beacon of hope, a man chosen by God. But behind his charismatic facade, Pastor Samuel harbored secrets. Late one evening, after a spirited prayer meeting, he sat in his office, the air heavy with the scent of polished wood and candle wax. A young church volunteer knocked softly. "Pastor, the elders are waiting for you," he said, bowing his head. Samuel nodded, his smile warm but his eyes distant. "Tell them I'll be there shortly," he replied. As the volunteer left, Samuel's phone buzzed with a cryptic message, "The Lord sees all. Repent before it's too late." He smirked, deleted the message, and returned to his papers. Tobo, a young man from a struggling family in Mkondo, had recently been hired as Pastor Samuel's personal assistant. To many, working for such a revered figure was a blessing, but for Tobo, it was a lifeline. His father was bedridden with a chronic illness, and Tobo's meager earnings were all that kept the family afloat. Tobo carried a heavy secret of his own. He was HIV positive, a fact he kept hidden, even from his closest kin. On his first day, Tobo arrived at the church in a neatly pressed shirt and khaki trousers, his hands trembling as he knocked on Pastor Samuel's office door. "Come in," Samuel's voice boomed. Tobo entered, offering a nervous smile. "Good morning, sir," he said. Samuel rose, extending a hand. "Tobo, welcome. I've heard you're diligent. This job demands loyalty and sacrifice for God's work. Are you ready?" Tobo nodded firmly. "Yes, sir." Samuel's smile was wide, but something in his gaze made Tobo uneasy, a flicker of calculation beneath the warmth. Tobo settled into his role, managing Pastor Samuel's schedule, organizing prayer sessions, and handling church correspondence. At first, everything seemed normal. "You're doing well, Tobo," Samuel said one afternoon, clapping him on the shoulder. "A sharp young man like you is hard to find." Tobo thanked him, but the praise felt excessive. As weeks passed, Samuel's behavior grew troubling. "That shirt suits you, Tobo. You've got style," he remarked one morning, his eyes lingering. Tobo brushed it off, unsure if he was misreading kindness. But one evening, as Tobo prepared to leave, Samuel called him back. "Sit, Tobo. Let's talk." Hesitant, Tobo obeyed. Samuel leaned forward. "You're special, you know that. Not just hardworking, but different." Tobo shifted uncomfortably. "Thank you, sir, but I just want to do my job." Samuel's smile tightened. "Don't be so rigid, Tobo. Opportunities like this don't come often. You should be flexible." Tobo's stomach churned. He mumbled an excuse and left, the pastor's words echoing in his mind. A month later, Tobo found a letter on his desk. "Your services are no longer required. Return all church property immediately." Shocked, he sought Samuel, but a guard blocked his way. "He's busy," the guard said gruffly. Tobo left the church, clutching his belongings, his mind reeling. He knew why he'd been fired, his refusal to comply with Samuel's veiled demands. With no job, Tobo struggled to support his father. Desperation grew, and so did his anger. Months later, unable to find work, Tobo swallowed his pride and returned to the church. "I need my job back, sir," he pleaded in Samuel's office. Samuel leaned back, smirking. "You had your chance, Tobo. But I am merciful. You can return if you show loyalty." Tobo understood the implication. Against his better judgment, he nodded. "Yes, sir." Samuel's eyes gleamed. "Good. Loyalty is everything." Samuel began summoning Tobo to private meetings at a guest house outside Mkondo. "No need for formalities here," Samuel said during their first meeting, loosening his collar. Tobo forced a smile, his heart heavy with disgust. Samuel handed him cash for his father's treatment, but his carelessness shocked Tobo. He never mentioned protection, boasting, "God shields his chosen." Tobo began recording their conversations, saving texts and voicemails in a hidden folder. Each meeting fueled his resolve. He started this, Tobo whispered to himself at night. I'll make him pay. Miriam, Pastor Samuel's wife, noticed changes in her husband. He was distant, preoccupied with his phone, and often absent after services. One evening, she confronted him. Samuel, you're always on that phone. What's going on? He shrugged. Church business. Miriam wasn't convinced. Her instincts screamed betrayal. She hired a private investigator, who soon delivered damning photos of Samuel and Tobo entering a guest house. Miriam's heart shattered, but she bided her time, plotting her next move. One Sunday, during a meeting with the church elders, Miriam stormed in, clutching an envelope. Elders, you need to see this, she declared, handing the photos to the head elder. The room fell silent as the images circulated, Samuel and Tobo at the guest house. Samuel paled. This is a misunderstanding, he stammered. Miriam laughed bitterly. You think I'm blind, Samuel? Tobo stood frozen, guilt and fear warring within him. The elders erupted in outrage, demanding explanations. Samuel's denials faltered against the evidence. Days later, Tobo was arrested at his home. You're under arrest for intentionally infecting Pastor Samuel with HIV, an officer said, cuffing him. Tobo's heart sank. That's a lie, he protested. At the station, he learned Samuel had accused him of deliberate transmission. I told him about my status once, Tobo explained to the interrogator. He didn't care, said God would protect him. The officer raised an eyebrow. Do you have proof? Tobo nodded. Recordings, messages, everything. He was held in custody, but his evidence gave him hope. The trial crept Mkondo, drawing crowds to the courtroom. Samuel's lawyer painted Tobo as a scheming opportunist, but Tobo's lawyer, Advocate Larotto, countered with evidence of coercion. Pastor Samuel abused his power, Larotto declared, playing Tobo's recordings. The court gasped as Samuel's voice demanded loyalty. Other men came forward, sharing similar stories of Samuel's manipulation. Medical evidence revealed Samuel's HIV status predated Tobo's employment, undermining his accusations. The judge delivered the verdict, there is no evidence Tobo intentionally infected Pastor Samuel. He is not guilty. Cheers and murmurs filled the courtroom. Tobo exhaled, relief mingling with sorrow. Samuel, frail and defeated, faced ruin, his reputation, church, and marriage destroyed. As Tobo left the courtroom, he overheard villagers whispering. Who knew Pastor Samuel was such a hypocrite, one said. The truth always comes out, another replied. Tobo moved to a nearby town, determined to rebuild. The weight of his ordeal lingered, but he vowed to move forward. The scandal exposed the dangers of unchecked power and the courage it takes to confront it. Pastor Samuel's fall served as a warning to Mkondo, no one is above accountability. Tobo's story, though painful, became a testament to resilience and the enduring pursuit of truth.